Following the Toltec, the Aztec, or Mexica, were the next group that rose to cultural dominance in Mexico. They settled at Lake Texcoco, near the long-abandoned city of Teotihuacan. Aztec priests decided to build on that spot because of a strange omen they had seen there: an eagle perched atop a cactus, grasping a snake in its beak. Today, the Mexican flag commemorates this legendary event. The Aztecs considered themselves to be the divinely ordained successors of the Toltec. Building on the Toltecs' militaristic culture, they forged alliances with other tribes and fought a series of wars that led them to become the most powerful empire ever to exist in Mesoamerica. At its peak in the early 16th century, the Aztec Empire covered more than 80,000 square miles. Their capital city, Tenochtitlan, was a metropolis of towering temples, palaces, and broad avenues. The city was crisscrossed with canals, which were used for transportation and for irrigation. Nearly all the ancient canals were destroyed when the Spanish drained Lake Texcoco. But here, at Xochimilco, near Mexico City, some of them remain. Many modern-day descendants of the Aztec visit the canals for a day of fun, drifting among the colorful boats, enjoying a wide variety of music and tasty food. In Aztec times, lush gardens grew on artificial islands in Lake Texcoco, called chinampas. Nearly half the local food was raised on the chinampas. These products were sold in open-air markets, attended by thousands of people. Gods associated with agriculture dominated the Aztec religion, and religion was the focus of Aztec life. For example, they worshipped a corn god, a rain god, and a god of fertility known as Xipe Totec. In some native communities in Mexico, dancers, known as the voladores, still perform an ancient ceremony dedicated to Xipe Totec. Their airborne ritual originated during a period when severe drought gripped the Aztec Empire. Back then, some young men decided to appeal to the god of fertility for help. In the middle of the village, they erected a tall pole, placing a small platform on top of it. Then, dressed in colorful costumes, they threw themselves into the air, floating like birds on the ropes attached to their legs, while one of them played sacred music as he spun. Each flyer twirled 13 times around the pole. These 52 revolutions represented the number of years in a century on the Aztec sacred calendar. Legend says the voladores' flying dance pleased Xipe Totec so much that he sent rain to save their crops. In addition to the gods of rain and fertility, the Aztec held the gods of the sun in very high esteem, for they believed that without them, there would be no life on earth. One Aztec sun god, Tonatu, is pictured on this calendar stone. The Aztec year represented on it consisted of 18 months, each lasting 20 days. Calendars were essential to the Aztec way of life. They believed that certain days were especially favorable for such activities as planting seeds, building houses, or going to war. Aztec priests made offerings to the gods in the hopes that their tribe would be blessed with victories and bountiful harvests. Religious rites were usually performed in temples situated atop pyramids in the sacred districts of the cities. Throughout Mesoamerica, various cultures believed that the gods aided humans only if humans nourished them through religious offerings, including human sacrifice. For the Aztec, this practice was a key element in their religious ceremonies. Most sacrificial victims were captured in wars, but a few were volunteers who were honored and treated with great respect before their ceremonial deaths. While numerous kings ruled the Mayan city-states, the ancient Aztec were governed by a single emperor, whom they called the Great Speaker. In the spring of 1519, the Emperor Montezuma II learned that pale-skinned invaders had arrived from the east in giant canoes and had damaged several villages by throwing bolts of lightning at them. Montezuma feared this meant the plumed serpent god Quetzalcoatl was coming to Tenochtitlan to destroy the Aztec Empire. As it turned out, the invaders were led not by a god, but by a Spanish conquistador named Hernán Cortés. By August 13, 1521, a little more than 2 years after arriving in Mexico, Cortés, his soldiers, and their Native American allies accomplished the seemingly impossible by overwhelming and then destroying the huge Aztec Empire.